Hey guys, Eerie is here and welcome along to another video. Now when this combo was announced as this week's dailies, there was a lot of the usual, oh my driver rating is going to get ruined, I'm going to skip this week. But I thought no, these races aren't as bad as everybody says. Gran Turismo Sport has been out long enough to fix the track limit issues of the past, and it's also been out long enough to fix the penalty system issues. And to be quite honest, we've all been doing this track for long enough to know how to fairly race around here. Well, on that I went into Monday night and wow, how wrong was I. These races ended up being everything everybody said they'd be, and worse to be quite honest, but as you all know, I show you guys everything on this channel. So buckle up, here we go. So you join me here in the pre-race practice lobby, but before we get into that, as always I just want to take a couple of moments to remind you guys to like the video if you do like the video, and make sure, now this is important, that you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. After being in the Super Formulas last time out at Suzuka, we're back in the GT cars for this race, so we're back on the Fanatec podium Porsche 911 GT3 R wheel today. My personal favourite. Look at the state of it. And by the way, if you want to know what I use to make all my videos and all this sort of stuff, links to everything I use is in the description down below. And also, just finally, let me know in the comments what you do to change this broken penalty system that I'm going to be showing you in this video. I personally like the iRacing system, but let me know what you guys think. I want to hear your ideas down below on how Polyphony Digital could fix this mess. Now, normally I would show you my pre-race practice quali, but sound issues arose and I didn't save the replay to stitch the audio to, so creator problems there. So we're going to miss out on that one, and you're going to have to trust me that I set a best time of a 146.656, which at the time was less than 7/10 of the 145.968, which was the top time. So I was really quite happy with that, and we headed into the race session. So here we go then. We're here, it's Monday night, 8 PM GMT, and it's always the most competitive lobby in the week. There's loads of big names there as you'd expect, and the British contingent of Team Rock are in there as well. And to show you how competitive this lobby was, my quali was only good enough for 14th place. So as we get underway here, we were burning fuel before we got started, and we're going to see here people on the run down to turn number 1 are wiggling around to get heat into their tyres. Now I'm going to move to the inside here because we're approaching danger zone number 1. I'm going to take it nice and easy here to try and prevent any dive bomb from myself into turn number 1, but by doing so, Blue Racer is going to try round the outside. I give him space to avoid any contact, but I managed to hold onto the position as he gets on the loud pedal just that little bit too much on his cold tyres coming out of the corner. So we've avoided the first danger zone. It's time to avoid the second, and it's probably quite dangerous because of people like me apparently. So I arrive hot into the corner in 14th, I overtake 12th and then overtake 2 other drivers that have just been reset. I couldn't turn in as there was a car in my way, and I just about made the corner. And miraculously though, I made it contact free and up to 11th place. So we're on the move here, and I think about a move on the Brit into Ascari. Now we're going to have a good run because I didn't go for it into Ascari. I knew I would be behind him here on the run down to Parabolica. So I'm going to move to the inside here. We're going to look for the braking zone, which is around or just after 100 metres. So we're going to slam on the anchors here, keep it as tight as possible so we can't cut back up underneath and olay us, and we are going to make the move stick. So as we come down to start lap number 2 in 10th place, we've managed to gain 4 places on the opening lap. Pretty decent start, and I'm very, very happy with that. But we're going to have to be careful here because on long straights like this, which are pretty prevalent all around Monza, there is going to be lots of pressure thanks to the slipstream. So coming into turn number 1, you can see on the radar we haven't got just one driver, we've got 2 drivers behind us. But due to this new aggressiveness that I'm finding myself with, I don't want to give up this position at all. And you're going to see he's going to have a run on us. I'm going to move to the left of the track to go defensive into turn number 2 and let him know my intentions. I don't want to let this place go easily. So by doing so, he's going to back out of it, as you see, and we're going to keep the place and we're going to stay in 10th. And with that attack thwarted, for now at least, we're going to be looking forward, and we've got a run on the Brit. So in a textbook move here, if I do say so myself, we're going to come down into turn number 1, slamming on the anchors and getting it stopped, taking the position. So that's another place gain now, 9th place. Things are going pretty damn well, to be honest. And we also, as we come through this long winding turn number 2, I think it's turn number 2 or turn number 3, whatever it is anyway, those collections of corners, I did them in the quickest out of anybody so far, as you can see here with the purple sector up in the middle of the screen. Now things are only going to get better for us here. There's a group of 5 up in front, many of them have penalties. So as we come through the gate here, we're going to overtake Agu, and then we're going to overtake another car, the Italian, on the run down to Ascari. So we're all the way up to 7th, still being the quickest so far out of everybody on the circuit with another purple sector. Now up ahead there are 2 names that you are going to recognise, Fire and our Team Rock teammate Basic Ollie. So we want to get after them here, and the Italian is going to try and help, but he's going to bump draft us just at the point where we want to brake, which isn't ideal and sends us wide. So trying to help us inadvertently turns into a punt. So that's going to force me wide, and it's going to let Ollie and Fire unfortunately get away a little bit. Now I'm not mad, but it's the thought that counts, I suppose. Just be careful though, guys, because it can often be counterproductive. Now moving ahead slightly, Fire has an issue at turn 1, and he's going to give himself a 1-second penalty. So as we come through the gate here, we're going to dispatch of Fire. I haven't ever said that in any of my videos at all, and I don't think I'll be saying it for a long time to come, so I'm just going to take that one in and savour it for a moment. There's nothing between ourselves and Basic Ollie now as we start lap number 5, which is quite the feat considering we started in 14th place. We are going to be split again though as we get overtaken by the Italian who was trying to work with us earlier, which is absolutely fine because we're just going to sit here and try and hold on to his slipstream. If he's quicker, it's no problem. He can drag us along hopefully until we come in for our one and only pit stop. But coming through the Parabolica, I just felt I was going to lose a slipstream. I didn't get the greatest run out of here, so rather than going round once again, staying in that slipstream, I made a last-second decision to come in. And I just realised I hadn't mentioned the strategy in this one. So to keep it brief, there's no issues with fuel here. We need to use the mediums and the softs, no, mediums and the hards that is, and we're going to be jumping off the mediums onto the hards for this one. Here on lap number 7, you're going to see on the left hand side there a couple of cars are starting to come in. We're up to 7th briefly, but then we're going to be back down to 8th as the Brit who we overtook earlier overtakes us back. Now I'm thinking I might try and make a move into turn number 2 if the opportunity arises. I'm really finding myself a bit more aggressive these days, but unfortunately it wasn't quite on, and this is where things are going to go, well, they're going to go right for us and then they're going to go wrong for us. So starting lap number 8 here, we're going to overtake Ollie here on the right hand side as he come out of the pits, and a Brit is going to come from downtown. Fair play though, he gets it stopped, makes the apex, no issue there. But we're back down to 8th again, where we've been for quite a long time in this one. And I'm really keen to finish this race strong. We've come so far from 14th up to 8th. I really want to see if we can do even better with 6th just up the road. But unfortunately, as we arrive into turn number 2, I'm just going to miss my braking point. There's going to be a bit of contact to the Brit up in front. Thankfully, nothing too bad though, and he doesn't get a penalty. Sorry bud, that was 100% my fault, but I got myself a 1 second penalty. So all the momentum we had has just been taken away as we're going to fall back once we go through the penalty gates here. So I'm going to pull to the right hand side here off the racing line to serve my penalty. I slow down, Ollie's going to go through, the German's going to go through in the Aston as well, and we are now down to 10th place. And starting lap 9 now, we're going to be under pressure but from a different Ollie. There's going to be a move on the cards for him down into turn number 1. So you're going to see he's pulled alongside here. I'm going to brake as late as possible, trying to go outside. There's going to be a little bit of contact, I think. I'm not quite sure, but there's also going to be another bit as we fishtail on the way out, and unfortunately I'm going to get another SR down and another 2-second penalty. So the first one, you know, I can handle. The second one I think was a little bit much, so I just let him through as I've lost the position. But I'm going to look back here and I can see there's 3 cars there, and as my race with this penalty is pretty much over at this point, I just pull off the racing line and let them through. I didn't want to influence their race or cost anyone any places by battling, knowing that I had a penalty to serve, and we were down to 14th. Right where we started, and as you look back there, our main man Kirith is behind us. I was about to say that's how bad things have got, but I don't want to take anything away from Kirith. And to be honest, I watched him on stream the other night and he was even faster than us, so no shade there, Kirith, my friend. We're up to 13th as the Brit had an issue there, so we've made a slight recovery and we're going to make another position up here on the final lap as we get a run on Ollie, who overtook us earlier on. So we're up to 11th or 12th now, I should say. There's a few cars up ahead, which makes it a little bit more painful, as it shows what could have been had we not had those penalties. But this one is far from over yet. As I come wide here and onto the gravel, onto the back straight, we're going to actually have lost momentum. Although we're in the slipstream of the Brit in front, the Brit behind is closing on us. All I need to do is to get this corner right, which of course I don't manage to do. I run wide here. You can see on the radar that the Brit is going to pull alongside, and to add insult to injury, I'm going to lose 12th place as we come across the line to finish this race. Considering we were up as high as I think 6th at one point, finishing there is not ideal at all. But we're going to go into race number 2, and you're going to see here that our SR has dropped to 87, so we're in a lower lobby here, no longer in the top splits. We are in second though, and we're the only A+ ranked driver in the lobby, so ideally, and I probably expect, to get the win and have a perfectly clean race here. So to make sure that we manage this properly, we're just going to sit behind the South African driver up in front. I'm going to bide my time here, make sure I'm clean, gather that SR, and then try and force him into a mistake or make a move on him in the final laps. Now moving on to lap number 3 here, everything's going well. Setting the fastest lap here, we've broken from the pack behind, and we're going to see here as we arrive into turn number 1 that somebody has been for a trip through the barriers, probably to be expected considering the SR around here. Now look at him here, he doesn't even touch it. The game drags him in, puts him in the air, and then spits him out, gifting us the lead. Now I have no idea what that was. I have never ever seen that. Let me know in the comment section down below if you've seen anything like that. I certainly have not. Now I did think about waiting for him because it clearly wasn't his fault, but then again I've got to think about number 1. He was way down the pack order at this point. We had to win the race, we had to get that SR so we could get back up to the top lobbies. So that's exactly what I did. I kept my head down here. I mean, I didn't win by much, to be honest. They were quicker than I thought they would, and I made a couple of mistakes. But the main thing was we came across the line first. And after that, our SR went up back to 97. So we're going to be back in the top lobby again here for this next one, trying to finish what I started in the first race. We're back here, as you can see the lobby revealed here in the top lobbies. You can tell that by the names in here. A few have left, but there's still some very big ones remaining. We're in 12th for this one, so a little higher than where we were in race number 1. And again, we're going to do the same thing at the start of this race. We're going to see people around us warming up their tyres, etc, etc, but all we want to do is go to the inside and avoid any shenanigans. I don't want to get punted off or have any issues this early in the race, because the next 10 laps after this could be very painful if you get it wrong at turn number 1. So we're keeping it nice and easy here. I think there was a bit of contact there. Thankfully though, we do not get a penalty and we've made it through. Made it through nice and clean. And now we're going to have a bit of a run on the pack towards turn number 2. Now I'm eyeing up the guy in 11th here, who's also in himself eyeing up the Brit. So I moved to the inside, but he's got his own ideas here, so I have to pull out of that one. I don't want to have any issues here. It's all very congested here coming through turn number 2, and it stays very congested as we come through towards Ascari. And looking up ahead, someone's going to get pushed out. And the guy who gets pushed out is Giorgio Mangano, you know, the world finalist guy. So we're side by side here, not wanting to hit him off. We managed to give him room on the outside, but I think he pulls out anyway, and we're up to 11th place. Up ahead, Oscar's going to get himself a penalty there, and he did what I didn't want to see him do. He did the bitch wiggle. Something that happens, you know, when people do the side by side thing when they get a penalty. I don't know why people do that. It drives me up the wall. But anyway, moving on. We're side by side here as we cross the line to start lap number 3. He's moved to the inside because he clearly wants to defend. So it's all going to be where we brake here. I'm going to pick my braking point, which is around the 150 metre mark. He does well as well. He's going to get the anchors on there. We managed to avoid contact. He keeps the position just for now, but then he's going to lose it here as he gets on the loud pedal as Blue Racer did in race number 1, just a little bit too early, being eager to get down the road, and he's going to gift us 10th place. So all we need to do here is keep our head down and get after the cars up in front, which is what we've done. And we're here now on lap number 5, having worked hard. We're in the slipstream of the GTR. I think about a move into turn number 1, it wasn't quite on, and again we thought about the same into turn number 2. Again, not quite on, so we're just going to live to fight another day. Up ahead, the Swiss driver you're going to see there on the right hand side is going to get himself a penalty, and by the time he serves that, we are going to be right behind him. And when he gets overtaken by the Frenchman, this is going to form a 6-car train. And up ahead as well, somebody else is going to get a penalty. So lots and lots of them flying around in this one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and just stay within this train. Really, there's the penalty there showing up now. We're just going to try and stay part of this. Just trying to hang onto the back of the group in front. Because just like the last races that we've done, we're going to be coming in the next lap or so to get onto the hard tyres. So as we come around the corner here, we managed to get it right this time, unlike the last corner of the first race, and a couple of them are going to come in. So we're going to move up into 6th place, the highest place where we were last time out, and we're just about in the slipstream of the car in front. You can see cars there coming out of the pits having changed their tyres. So what's even more encouraging is the new leader is actually in sight as well. So very, very close. I know that there's a couple of cars behind us who have pit, but you know, having the leader in sight is never a bad thing. And we're going to go up to 5th now as the car on the left hand side goes off, coming out of Lesmo 2. Easily done. And then it was time to come into the pits. After putting the hard tyres on, we're going to emerge from the pits in 8th place. Now I just about managed to get it stopped here. It's always so difficult, even after doing it 3 times in this session alone, trying to get the car stopped for turn 1 at Monza, being on hard, cold tyres. Always very, very difficult. And as we are on the harder tyres, the Swiss driver is all over us. So we're going to go defensive under the bridge, but then he's going to let us know that he wants to work together by giving us a tap up the backside like the car before did, just not in our braking zone, which is always helpful. And then we're going to be side by side starting lap number 8. And as I know that the position has gone, I'm going to get out of the throttle slightly here, which is going to allow him to just take his normal line, which isn't going to hold us up through the first corner, because it will do if he's on the inside line and cannot take his optimal line. So bear that in mind if you're hanging on or trying to hang on to a place that you know you are going to lose. And up in front, the GTR that we've been chasing has come out right in front of us. He's then going to go onto the gravel, which means he slides up to the right, and then there's contact with the Swiss, who again gets another 1 second penalty. He's up the inside here, which allows us to have a little bit of a look at the Frenchman here. Then I decide to pull out of it, and it's at this point that I realise that behind us is 2 other cars, one of which is Giorgio. So after taking him earlier on, he's now back with us. Now it's all very, very congested here, once again, as it has been for a lot of these races down towards Ascari, but we managed to keep it trouble free at this point, and we're about to start the penultimate lap. The Frenchman here gets a bit squirrely, which allows us a bit of a run here, but then as soon as we pull out, we just cannot get alongside, and that's because he is in the slipstream of the Swiss in front. And all the time that this is happening, I'm conscious that the person on my radar, who is Giorgio, is getting closer and closer. So we come out of Parabolica here, we're in the slipstream, we're a bit of a train here coming down the front straight, and I thought to myself as Giorgio closed in on us, right, if you want to get past me you're going to have to go round the outside. I mean, how often am I on track with a driver of this calibre, one of the fastest drivers on Gran Turismo Sport, and what he does is he proceeds to go round the outside with ease. Now, I made sure to give him space, I didn't want to cause contact, and we are down to 9th, but that is not going to be the end of it. As I say, I thought to myself, I don't often find myself on the same track as these guys, let alone in a position to battle with him. So we're often in the same lobbies, but we're just at opposite ends of the grid. So I think about a move into turn number 2 here, but I didn't have a clean shot, so I didn't go for it. And then again, in exactly the same situation, I think about it into Lesmo 1-2. But we just weren't close enough. So at this point it allows him to get away a little bit, but crucially we're still in the slipstream. Up ahead you're going to see here Daplin serves his penalty, which is going to allow us to go round the outside of him when we catch up with him. Good on him here, he stays to the left hand side rather than coming across our face, which is never ideal at any time really. So amazingly, as we come through Ascari, I'm still in the slipstream of Giorgio, and the gap that we had is going to close here as we come down the back straight. Now we are in probably the Meta car, to be honest, so that's another mitigating factor here, and he's probably having an off day. Well, he's got to be battling with me, but you can only beat what's put in front of you, and we can't help what car he's in really, so we're going to absolutely go for it. And as we come out of the final corner here to start the final lap, it's time to make our move. Now we're going to sit in the slipstream here, we're going for it, we're going for it, we're going for it. We're going to pull to the right hand side as he moves to the left, and amazingly, if I can get this thing stopped, we are going to pass fairly this guy on track. Absolutely unbelievable. One of the fastest guys on Gran Turismo Sport. I've got to be honest, he's a bit of a fanboy about that. We've overtaken Fire in this one. Admittedly, he was doing it with a penalty, and we overtook Mangano, but admittedly he was probably not in the fastest car, but you've got to take what you can. What a roller coaster of a night's racing. So to recap, race 1 we were up from 14th to 6th, and then everything started going wrong. We got penalties, started making mistakes, and we ended up dropping to 87 safety rating, which put us for race 2 in a lower lobby. And yeah, we went from the lowest of the low, dropping down lobbies, to the highest of the high by getting ourselves a win, a rare win here on GT Sport. That's the good thing about this game. One of the good things is their matchmaking system. I'm always in the middle of the pack, which shows, you know, it's doing something right. And after getting the win, courtesy of somebody getting absolutely ruined through no fault of their own, we arrived in this race, and we have risen from 12th to currently 7th, battling and beating a multiple world finalist, albeit, as I said, he's probably having an off day. But this does not forgive the issues on Gran Turismo Sport right now. I want to make that clear. And I'm not going to go into it, as a lot of other creators out there have covered it this week. Whilst I support and share their sentiments, I am very much of the mindset there is enough going on in the world right now, and my gripes with a computer game do not compare with what many are going through right now. So as I say, I'm not going to go into it, but please rest assured that I fully agree, and I'm not happy about it either. So as always, as our 7th place is confirmed here, pretty good considering we were car number 9 and we've gone up 5 places, let's have a look at how our driver and safety rating has been affected. So we've actually gone up by almost 800 points actually for the driving rating side of things, and for our safety rating we've managed to recover back up to 99 after that slight issue we had in race number 1. And for now guys, that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks again so much for watching guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.